Hello, President Yan Jol-sun and distinguished members of the Taiwan Association for Sociology of Education. I would like to first express my sincere gratitude for this invitation to participate in the 28th Annual Forum. It is indeed an honor and pleasure for me to be able to join such an important meeting. So please let me share with you my slides. My name is Satoko Fukahori from Kyushu University. Today, I am representing the Japan Society for Educational Sociology as the chairperson of the International Affairs Committee for 2021 and 2022. In line with the topic of your conference, I would like to speak briefly about substantiating education for sustainable development and social contribution, focusing on higher education learning outcomes. As in Taiwan, Japan has been working very hard towards shifting to a learner-centered learning outcomes-based education over the past 2 decades. In the meantime, the global discourse on education has been developing rapidly with increasing focus on competencies and agency. We are now facing the new challenge of measuring the acquisition of competencies. The emphasis has shifted from not just making sure that students know, understand, and are able to perform a given set of knowledge and skills, attitudes, and values, but that they're able to put them into action and act as change agents for the well-being of society. The concept of transformative competencies, including the ability to create new value, reconcile tensions and dilemma, and take responsibility, has been identified as key attributes in the OECD Learning Framework 2030. Yes, that's all very beautiful, but how do we substantiate the idea? What are the effective pedagogical approaches in developing such competencies? And how do we measure the acquisition of competencies? Various efforts to identify the mechanisms are in progress. Here, I would like to focus exclusively on the NIER Tuning Test Item Bank project, which aims to develop methodologies for measuring the achievement of abstract program-level learning outcomes in alignment with the competencies in action. So the topic of interest is how can we measure the achievement of program-level learning outcomes? First, I will provide a brief overview of the NIER Test Item Bank project. Please visit our website for further detailed information. The Tuning Test Item Bank is a collaborative effort among higher education experts of generating common understandings of higher education learning outcomes through jointly developing and sharing test items that measure how well students know, understand, and can do upon completion of their degree programs. The project is a spin-off from the OECD HELLO project conducted between 2008 and 2012, involving 17 countries and over 500 universities across subject areas of engineering, economics, and generic skills. Japan participated in the engineering strand. Based on the Tuning HELLO learning outcomes framework derived from engineering competence frameworks shared by Anglo, Asian, and European countries and regions, the project aimed to test if it was possible to develop a measurement tool to assess the achievement of higher education learning outcomes. The conclusion was that it was indeed possible, based on hard work, to develop such a tool, but that further discussion was necessary to reach agreement on the purpose of the measurement and the unit of analysis, etc. To build on this very important OECD HELLO experience, the NIER Test Item Bank aims to develop sophisticated tools to measure the achievement of abstract program-level learning outcomes in alignment with the learning outcomes framework shown here, which is more concise from the OECD Hello framework. Here's a sample of our constructive response task item developed to measure how well students can think like an engineer. English translation of the sample of wind farms will be available through our website over the summer, so please visit our website. This is a very important slide, which shows how abstract level learning outcomes shown in red can be materialized into more concrete and measurable course level learning outcomes shown in blue. For example, the abstract program level learning outcome of engineering practice integration, described as the ability to select, integrate, and utilize applicable theories and methods and their constraints to solve engineering problems, can be expressed in more tangible terms. Benefits and rationale or reasons for selecting a particular site for a wind farm installation can be explained to engineers and the general public. So being able to go back and forth between different levels of abstractness or concreteness to be able to align and connect program level learning outcomes and course level learning outcomes is a critically important expertise required for measuring the achievement of competencies. So by exploring the optimal combination of learning outcomes to measure, we believe that we will be able to approach methodologies for the measurement of the achievement of competencies in action. So this is a sample of our feedback. And in this section, I would like to introduce the experience of the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Kyushu University, who conducted a trial implementation of the NIER tuning test item bank item to measure the achievement of program level learning outcomes. At Kyushu University, we developed a conceptual model of educational enhancement, aligning program and course level processes, and have introduced various tools to support faculty, staff, and students, including the Kyushu University curriculum map, syllabus system, rubrics, and stakeholder surveys. This is a conceptual model of the curriculum map. We have vertically lay out program level learning objectives applying the revised Bloom taxonomy logic with higher order learning objectives placed on the upper rows. Courses are placed horizontally from bachelor degree freshman level on the left-hand side and more advanced levels on the right-hand side. Courses are placed in rows corresponding to the program level learning objectives that they are most closely linked to, leading to related courses being placed in sequence next to each other. In the syllabus for each course, program level learning objectives are automatically shown, which helps faculty appropriately define course level learning objectives, and which helps students understand the role of the course within the overall program. This is what the mechanical engineering program curriculum map looks like. And for all the other programs, curriculum maps are shown in the university website. This is a sample of the syllabus mentioned earlier with program level learning objectives and course level learning objectives shown next to each other. Links to relevant curriculum maps are also provided. And as a default, a single point rubric with course level learning outcomes, learning objectives indicated as dimensions are generated, sending out a clear message to the students that the achievement of course level learning objectives is a necessary condition to earn passing grades for a course. We have an institutional policy that requires programs to monitor the achievement of program-level learning objectives at certain checkpoints throughout the program. In accordance with this policy, the Mechanical Engineering Department conducted a trial implementation of an NIER tuning test item bank to measure the achievement of program-level learning outcomes. More specifically, they had junior and senior level students take the same test to see their growth and to draw implications on the effectiveness of the fourth-year teaching and learning experience. This is a summary of the results. Junior year results are shown in red, and senior year results are shown in yellow. The blue represents the total of all other institutions. The top bars shows the overall results of the multiple choice questions measuring the achievement of learning objective focusing on acquisition of knowledge and skills. There is no statistically significant difference between juniors and seniors, indicating that by year 3, students at Kyushu University have obtained most of the knowledge necessary at the bachelor level. The second set of bars shows the overall result of constructive response tasks, measuring the achievement of higher order thinking skills, or how well students can think like an engineer, integrating the skills of engineering analysis, engineering design, and engineering practice. You can see that the seniors score significantly higher than the juniors, indicating that the success of the fourth year courses or teaching and learning experience is meaningful. The results also imply that the NIER tuning test item bank battery is a fairly successful measurement tool of abstract level learning outcomes, learning objectives, or competencies. I would like to wrap up by mentioning new developments regarding the competencies required for engineers. The International Engineering Alliance has recently revised their graduate attributes and professional competencies for engineers, reflecting requirements for new technologies and engineering disciplines, new pedagogies and values such as sustainable development, diversity and inclusion, and ethics. And this is what the graduate attribute looks like. And this indicates the key points of the 4th edition revision. As indicated here, the revisions cover issues of sustainability, diversity and inclusion, agility, creativity, innovation, communication, data science, and lifelong learning, all of which are issues in alignment with the topic of this annual conference. And as mentioned earlier, the NIER Tuning Test Item Bank Learning Outcomes Framework is based on the graduate attributes and professional competencies, which means that we will need to revise our framework and update our test items in response to the requirements of sustainable development and social contribution. This is really, really daunting, given all the hard work already exerted to the effort. But this notion of the race between technology and education reminds us that we need to work quickly so that the teaching and learning of newer generations can keep up with the developments of technology and retain the well-being of society. In terms of the quality assurance of higher education, we should probably shift our attention from the micromanagement of higher education programs and focus on efforts to substantiating education for sustainable development and social contribution. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And I very much look forward to our online discussion on July 23rd. Thank you very much. Goodbye.